who am I speaking to? Who is this person in front of me?
I'm Mobeen Fikree. I'm the founder of Vertex Pop, and I'm also the programmer and designer.
Awesome. So just played some Super Crush KO. Was a lot of fun. I see elements. Obviously, you brought over some elements from Graceful Explosion Machine. First, just while this is up, and like this is totally useless information, but for some reason, whenever I say Graceful Explosion Machine, I always almost say Graceful Explosion Man. If you remember, like the Explosion Man game.
Yes,
So
Man, yeah.
Sorry about that. In the video review for the game, I said it once. I said Graceful Explosion Man. I was like, no. Anyway,
I didn't notice. So you're doing okay.
All right, cool. So anyway, some elements, obviously you got a high score attack kind of game, just like Graceful Explosion Machine. Could you tell me, I feel like I was having a little trouble, or tell me, what's the best way to get awesome combos in this game?
Yeah, so basically, I'll answer all of that stuff.
Sure.
So with Gem, for Super Crush KO, we wanted to take some of the ideas from Gem, kind of like the mechanics and like the feel of like a shoot 'em up, and bring them over to a beat 'em up, right? And so the way that Super Crush KO works is that you basically have your melee attacks, like your punches.
Sure.
You have shooting on the right trigger, and then you have special attacks. And the special attacks are all basically smash style attacks. So it's push a button and a direction, and that's it, right?
Sure.
So they're all pretty straightforward. There are no like quarter circles or anything like that, right? And so the way to get good combos and good scores in Super Crush KO is kind of like in Gem, to like use a variety of attacks. So go between doing some melee stuff, some special attacks, some shooting. As you know, you start to use one too much, the game kind of pushes you to using the others. And so kind of like having a variety of attacks, but also like keeping your combo going. Chaining moves together is really the way to like get good scores. And we try to make that like as intuitive as possible in the game.
Awesome. The music seems really good. Is it the same people who did the music for Graceful Explosion Machine?
Yeah, it sure is. Robbie Duguay is the guy who's done the music for all of our games, all the games at Vertex Pop actually, and he's come back to do the music for Super Crush KO as well, and it's fantastic. It has the same chill but kind of intense feel that Gem had.
Sure.
That's what we wanted with Super Crush KO as well.
Awesome. I guess so. This is like a first level, but I think you were saying something how it's sort of like combines pieces from what we'll see in the final game. I know a lot of the stages in Graceful Explosion Machine sort of like were showing you like, oh, this is how you use this weapon, this is how you use this weapon. Will there be stuff like that in this game? Yeah,
so the demo like that you're probably gonna watch along with this interview is like is a more condensed level. Like we took a couple of components from the first few levels to like show off all the special abilities. In the full game, those will be like kind of like unlocked over a slightly longer period of time, so you get a good feel for each ability, and like you really understand like what scenario should I use what ability in. But also like once you unlock the abilities, you have them for the entire game, and so we don't do a thing where you like level up or you have to grind to get new abilities or whatever. Basically you unlock them, and then once you have them you can use them wherever, and like ultimately it becomes about you being better at the game, like you getting more familiar with the mechanics, as opposed to like you grinding to level up some numbers that you get more strength, right? Like we don't really like doing that kind of thing. Gotcha.
Yeah. I like it. It's a very much skill-based, not like...
Exactly. Skill-based, yes. It's a skill-based action game.
I guess, how long do you think the campaign is going to be? And will there be... I guess, like, then, like, after you've beaten everything, like, you're going to be able to go for, like, the high scores in each level, and there'll be online leaderboards. Am I correct about all this?
Yeah. So we're shooting for between 4 and 5 hours. We're still developing the game, so that's subject to change. Like we want to make a game that is like, it doesn't feel too repetitive, it doesn't feel too grindy, so we do a lot of like aggressive editing, like, hey, this level feels kind of boring, let's get rid of it. We respect the player's time, so when you're done with the game, obviously like you can we want to give you a choice in like how you play the game. So if you just want to play through every level, learn about the story, you know, like watch the cutscenes, that kind of thing, that's cool. You're welcome to do that. If you want to go back and like S rank every level, like perfect the combo system, you can do that as well. And so if you want to do that, there's substantially more gameplay and substantially more time you're going to sink into the game than you would if you were just playing it through like a kind of like once over.
Sure, gotcha. Okay, awesome. I guess any final thing for the people watching or listening or whatever they're doing, however they're consuming this content?
Yeah. I guess I want to think about like the stuff that is not in the demo but that is in the game.
Sure.
So one of the things we haven't talked about is the story. So the story is kind of like aliens have invaded Earth, but they've kidnapped your cat.
Right.
And you're like, oh no, I gotta save my cat. And so you're going through these levels, like, you know, punching robots out, trying to save your cat, and while you're at it, you also end up saving the world. But it's like mostly about your cat, you know?
Sure.
So,
I remember you mentioning this yesterday. I was like, this is sort of like a John Wick thing. At least your cat is alive.
yes, yeah, exactly. It's a John Wick with a cat.
Yeah.
The other thing, so along with that, with the story, we have these cutscenes that happen between worlds. They're all like, they're comic book inspired cutscenes. They have a little bit of animation. They're really gorgeous cutscenes. And like the story on the whole is like pretty lighthearted, and we try to make sure it doesn't get in the way of the gameplay. So, you know, when you replay the levels, you're not gonna have to like watch a cutscene in the middle. You're not gonna be interrupted, right? Once you're in the flow, you don't want to get out of that, right? The other thing we haven't talked about are bosses. So we do have bosses in the game, one at the end of every world. They're really cool. They're actually in the game, like, you know, the builds back at home, which is like the full version. They're in there, they feel really good. So I'm really proud of those as well. I hope, you know, when everybody plays it early next year, they have a blast with that. So.
That's awesome. Are the bosses, are there any like classic games that you're inspired, that are inspiring you for these boss battles?
I guess like I kind of looked at, like, I don't have anything like one game in particular, but like I kind of looked at like bosses in games that I've played before, and I'm like, what did I like about them? What didn't I like about? And I tried to like figure that out for myself and try to make like the best bosses we could. And so some of the things are that they're not super pattern based. They kind of randomize their attacks a little bit, so like it keeps you on your toes, and they really like reinforce what you've learned during the game itself. So it's not like there are these like puzzle-based things or whatever. They are just like, they're big enemies, they have a lot of health, they do these interesting attacks that you don't see in the game, but like ultimately it's about like outsmarting the boss in the same way that you would any other enemy in the game.
All right, that's awesome. Thank you very much for taking your time with us.
Yeah, cool. I should also mention that the game is coming out early next year. So early next year, it'll be on Nintendo Switch. It runs beautifully in handheld mode, in docked mode. It's 60 frames, that kind of thing. And if anybody wants to find out more about the game, you can go to supercrushko.com, and I'm sure also read the fine reporting that y'all do on your website.
Great. Thank you so much.
Cool. Have a good day.